listening to your conversation with Ashla Botha. That was very powerful. And you mentioned something so profound, and that really landed with me. And I quote, you said money is an emotion. Will you please unpack this for us?
Thank you, Sipati, for the question. So money is more psychology or psychological than anything else. It invokes an emotion in us. So our parents can be cross because they are stressed. They see the money coming in is not sufficient to pay X, Y, and Z. And for the past couple of years in South Africa especially, the living costs has increased dramatically and our salaries are not keeping up. And another thing is the purchasing power of the rand is decreasing. And I used to say, a 10 rand from this year versus last year can't buy the same thing. Now I'm changing it to a 10 rand for this month versus last month cannot buy the same thing. Fuel is increasing. Electricity is increasing. Interest rates are going up. And when I say interest rates are going up, it means our credit becomes more expensive. If I've got a car, if I've got a bond, if I've got a credit card, a personal loan, an overdraft at the bank, that interest rate hike, my credit becomes more expensive, my debt becomes more expensive. And without a doubt, that invokes an emotion in us. Because now all of a sudden, I'm stressed, or I go to bed stressed, or I'm at work. And we've got many external factors that stress us already. We live in a time where we struggle with mental health. The family needs us. Our parents need us. We need it at work, or I'm a business owner and I'm stressed. And that's where it comes down to money. It invokes an emotion in us. And that's, I think, when I started the talk, I said, have that money date so you can take charge of the story for yourself going forward. And the girls that are joining us, the young ladies there at the back, well, we're all young, yeah, but I mean the younger ones at the back. Like you said, they can do it right by learning from our lessons.
Thank you so much, Adele. I want us to actually speak about the reason why you're here. You are a financial planner, right? You are a financial educator, teach people about money. Wow, that's amazing. So I want us now to speak about budgeting. I know that you actually hinted it, but I want us now to get deep into it, budgeting. And then also, I want us, while we're on budgeting, I want us to speak about tools for saving, especially in uncertain times. Because we are living in times that are uncertain, especially COVID has taught us that, what, life is uncertain. And if you thought you had it all together at that time, there are people who actually lost their jobs. And imagine if you lose a job and you didn't even have some savings, what's going to happen? So people went through a lot of stress, depression, and we'll get into that with us, Elizabeth. But please just assist us and elaborate for us what budgeting is, and then how can we budget in uncertain times?
So a budget is a plan to tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I'm going to say it again. It's a plan.
Just write it down, you have some notes.
A budget is a plan to tell your money where it should go instead of wondering where it went. And I'm quoting Dave Ramsey, the big American financial content creator, influencer, if you will. So with a budget, for anyone that wants a template, I can email you one. Just make me a note that I know on the paper, please. So get the correct tool, whether it's Excel, whether it's notes on your phone, whether it's the 24/7 app, so you can see this is the amount coming in, this is what's going out. And look at your expenses. I need to pay my rent or my bond, my transport, my insurance, etc. And look for, like I said earlier, look for those things you're paying that you don't need anymore. Maybe you've got a gym membership you don't even use anymore, or whatever it may be, and we're all guilty of that. Okay, we're going to cancel it. Or go to gym. I'm not saying don't go to gym. If you use it, please continue with it. I think that's the message I want to bring across. But especially with your budget, and we throw the term so loosely around as it's an exercise. So the first month, I want to say now, and we're going to do it now for November, set aside an hour or two. And from there, it's easy. because next month I've got my line items ready. I wanted to mention something earlier which I forgot to mention. Nicolette Mashile says it so beautifully. She says, at a stage when there's not enough cake to eat, we need to bake more cakes, right? We can only trim it down and give everyone a slice, and if there's not enough, you need to bake more. So if I'm seeing, oh, it's okay, I can't meet all my commitments, I need to start looking at, can I apply for another job to get more money? Or what can I do on the sideline to earn more money? I see it all the time where clients literally have, and I don't like the word side hustle, but it's a side hustle, and then it becomes a full-time hustle eventually, to get that additional income in to survive from month to month. So it's to tell your money where to go instead of wondering where your money went. Money goes quick, nah, if you don't budget, quick.
Okay, and this is for my sister. My sister started her job, I think last year, July. And, I couldn't advise her about finances because I also didn't start well. So I want us now to actually advise someone who just started working, which advice would you give to that person about finances?
Yeah. That's such a good question. Okay, and it's all, remember, my answer is going to be, it's all relative because it depends on our family circumstances and etc., right? But I think the biggest tip for that person I would share is to live below your means. Live below your means. There comes a lot of, I think it's a form of self-care, I almost want to say. Because if you live below your means, you're not stressed. And also if you live below, and it's not necessarily always lacquer, right? Because now I have to buy brand X and not brand Y, what. But I think to live below your means, honestly, you're financially confident. You're more calm because finances bring an emotion. We're all stressed about it one way or another. And I think live below your means, have a budget, and also, and you spoke about it, the gap that we've got in South Africa that not everyone has access. But if you do, go look at Nicolette Mashile's videos, YouTube, for example, Mpalu's book. There's enough content out there. I always say, another quote, and I'm a big quote person, is Warren Buffett says, when you go to bed at night, you need to go to bed with more knowledge than what you woke up with in the morning. And I'm not saying go read 500 pages. We don't have time for all of that. But I'm saying declutter our mind. Stop looking at what X and Y is doing on Instagram and what they're not doing. Use that time towards your own interest, your own wealth.
So we do know that someone might say, I can't save due to maybe a little income that I'm getting, and also because I have black tax or a family responsibility, and also due to paying tax, like we have to buy sanitary pads every month, and responsibility is weighing too much on me. How can we assist the parties mentioned about saving and budgeting?
I don't know who in the room has heard or is part of One Family, One Stockpile on Facebook. I hope there's someone. Okay. Yo, the rest of you must join. I'll tell Nkumisa. So, Nkumisa started a couple of years ago One Family, One Stockpile. And she didn't know it, but at the time she got it from her mom. I'm just going to paraphrase the story now roughly. But when non-perishable, so toiletries, when you buy those items, like I'm referring to not like fruit and veg now, right, and food and meat and stuff, the tin goods, etc. If you can get a special, buy 3 pay for 2. There are apps even now where you compare Checkers, Pick n Pay, Woolies, Shoprite, wherever, and stockpile. And I'm gonna, for someone, let's say, that started with a minimum wage, and as well for someone that has a good salary or comfortable salary, especially in the South African economy, stockpiling is king or queen because she started. Because Nkamisa started that. Please go join the group. one family, one stockpile. So the reason I started with that intro, there was a post once of a lady, and I hope you can now assist me with the post because I can't remember exactly. She was the only one working, or she just started working, and there was a hubby and I think 3 kids roughly. That was the circumstances, and I think she started with 8,000 rand a month now, roughly. And everyone was shocked by how much money she had saved because she's the only breadwinner, and she's looking. And there was extended family or something. I can't remember exactly. And she said what she did was she had her little notes, and she stockpiled. And it may not sound as profound, but there is a method in it because you're paying per unit cheaper on your roll-ons or your sprays or the dishwashing soap or whatever the case might be. Per unit, you're saving throughout the year. And it's the most beautiful thing because the ladies post their pictures on there of how their cupboards look. And there's a thing of that having that savings it's a savings mentality we need to create within ourselves. So saving is one form of making my 1 rand 2 rand, but it's also about my lifestyle, what I'm buying, and also, and this is a tough one to discuss for me and to share as well, is wants versus needs, because we all have wants as we sit here. Like you said, we want the next thing always, but to be comfortable in who we are with what we have and what we want, there's lots of power in that.
Yes. Yeah, that's powerful. And you actually answered my next question. I will just say, just for interest sake, I wanted to say we want to slay, but obviously we can't slay on a zero budget. Which and because of societal pressure, we think we are forced to always buy clothes when we go to events, Like after this event, next week it's someone's wedding. And you're like, I have to buy something because I already posted that dress on Instagram, so I can't wear it again. So, no, you answered my question. Yes, please do. Okay, let me finish. Yeah. So, because you might as let me, yeah. So, social media pressure, as well as the fact that we want to buy clothes every month. We're not saving, but clothes we definitely buy every month. So, how would you advise someone who wants to spend just to please others, and just to show that this is something that I wasn't wearing like last week, because sometimes we really do it for people.
We do it. I think most times. I'm going to share you another story. This client, or not a story, it happened. A client of mine, she's a business, used to be a business owner, and with COVID, unfortunately, the business didn't make it. And I learned from her because what she did was she knew, and she incurred a lot of debt. She knew she was not strong enough with events and photos and what. She deleted her social media profiles just because we started working together. And obviously, so luckily, a couple of months later, she did find a job, but it was now an adjustment, salary-wise, etc. Sorry, my story is not very rough. There's obviously details that's super important. Like she's got a new salary, but it was a massive adjustment, not what she was used to. Now she has all of this debt. And she had the discipline to say, you know what, for a couple of months, I'm going to delete everything because then I don't see it. What I'm not exposed to, I don't see it, I don't think about it. One of my very good friends, Noma Sibulo, says, or 2 things she always thinks that I think it's so profound. We need to declutter our minds. And it's a tough job to do because we consume content. We're on social media, and it also has its positive effects. I'm going to touch on that now. No? But we see, and I'm saying, oh, X is driving this now, and Y is having this bag, and whatever. I don't know their bank accounts. So you don't know each other's bank accounts. So I think that is quite profound that client of mine, said, I'm going to go off socials. And she's back on socials now, and she's living her best life, and she is saving now. Because she got rid of the debt. And we need to know what works for us. If I know I don't have the discipline or self-control, don't tempt me. But social media also has its good side. I mean, I'm so grateful. Social media allowed me to connect a network. I built my entire financial education literacy platform on social media during COVID. And 2 years, where are we now? Almost 3 years later, I've got the opportunity to be in your presence, and I'm so honored and grateful, and that you invited me. So it's what we do with what we have, and the time and how we utilize it as well. So I'm trying to bring a message to make sure that you're adding value to your own life with it as well. It's not a bad thing only, but only you can decide. I can't decide for you. We can have a conversation. I can give you the info, but you must still decide what you want to do with it. On that note, I'm going to be very savvy and say, please follow me at Adele.Barnard on Instagram. So it's Adele, like the singer, ADELE.Barnard. You'll see me on there. Okay, great. Thanks, Epati. I appreciate it. That we can carry on with these financial talks.
I know how much you love Margaret Hirsch. So recently, I got the opportunity to attend the Standard Bank Women Awards. It was a conference, and so I had the opportunity to actually attend even the, let me just call it preparation events, just for interest's sake. And then she mentioned something so profound about generational wealth and having multiple streams of income. And can you believe that Margaret, in her own company, she advises her own employees to go and sell like Tupperware, Avon? I'm like, wow, this lady. Yeah, so how does one know what type of secondary income to venture into? I know you are here and then your salary doesn't actually sustain you. And you are like, sure, I want to actually do something on the side. Where can I start? Apart from this, we have our individual jobs that on Monday, we have to go back and report. So I'm just saying that it's so nice to do something on the side that is fulfilling. So Adele, how would you advise someone who just wants to, do some secondary income on the side because of maybe the income itself is not sustainable?
Another good question. So I would say, depend on your goal. So if your goal is, I've got a passion for something and I want to pursue it, then you've got time and you're not stressed. But if your goal is, I need to make additional income to survive or get rid of debt or whatever, then you need to look at something that you can start off with quickly. How much cash do you need to start it? All those type of things play a role in it. And I think passion does play a role in it. It does, for the sustainability of the business in the long run. I think that's a big component, because if I'm passionate about something, it will have a direct flow or indirect flow from my 9 to 5 possibly, but I'm going to put in the effort, I'm going to put in the hours, I'm going to go the extra mile because I can see the end goal. Just last month, I've had a client of mine, she worked for a big retailer in Cape Town for many years, and she started a candle business, which also started in lockdown and was a side hustle. And she's like, she couldn't afford it. And she looked up how to start like her own scented candles. And she did like a few gifts here and there. And then the people like, oh, you're good. Like, this is nice. A couple of months later, or almost a year later, she is now on her own. But what is important is she also made sure that she's got investor, but capital, because you don't want to start full-time on your side hustle and there's not enough cash, because that's why a lot of side hustles don't last. And I think also check online like what you can do in today's gig economy. If you've got access to internet, etc., it's relatively easy to have that side hustle. You can go online, complete surveys or however, or you can become an Uber driver. There are various things you can do to supplement your income, but you must need to make sure it fits into your 9 to 5, because that's still your primary responsibility, where you get your biggest, I think, salary. It's a difficult question because it's not a one size fits all. I don't know if these questions or like if you.
I think it is well answered. Just too few more. We get in there. Just for the sake of the rich aunts in the house, I want you to please unpack what is the difference between rich and wealth, so that we can use them correctly.
Okay. Rich is when well, apparently I read on Twitter the other day you get rich and then you get rich because we are in Pretoria, the Real Housewives of Pretoria aired, and people are like, it's rich. Um, so when I've got wealth, I've got time freedom. I can do what I want whenever I want. I don't have to do my job. I don't have to go into my business because I can travel or I can lay in or I can whatever I want to do. That's real wealth. When you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, that's wealth. And time freedom. Time freedom is when I don't have to go do my job because I can do whatever I want. Whereas rich, and the problem with rich is it's so wide in 2022 because I can look at a certain celebrity and think they are rich. We think what we see is that's rich. But I mean, I don't know if you read the article or heard about it where, you can, it's easy to look rich because you can hire a bear, you can hire to sit for half an hour in a private plane, you can hire someone's car, or even if you're a forex trader, you can copy someone's profile and look rich. And on that note, please don't. If someone tells you they can double or triple your money in 48 hours, run. Block, delete. I think so. That's the main essence. But I'm going to tie it off by saying, I think having financial peace of mind, then you don't care if you're rich or wealthy. Because then you're not stressed about your finances.
So we have young people in the room. How would you advise those little girls sitting there, those who are interested to pursue a career in the financial sector? I know they are sitting there, so how would you advise those little girls if they want to pursue a career in the financial sector?
Okay. I think, your subjects will help. If you want to go into accounting, take accounting. If you want to become a doctor, study biology and science, etc. Those are the traditional routes to do it. But also, I think expose yourself, from a young age. So go down, you're 15, 16, from a young age, to various options because the landscape has changed. The other day, I arrived at clients, and I always chat. Obviously, the kids are also my clients indirectly, and I asked the kid how's it going? What does he want to do? And his answer to me was he wants to be a TikToker. That was his answer. And at first I was like, what is that? How is that? And it is actually a thing. Those big TikTokers earn tons of money posting a video. And please, it is hard work. I've got a lot of influencer clients, so I'm not going to. But I think it's about exposing yourself. Because also we realize sometimes I thought I wanted to be a doctor and then I don't like blood. However. I always thought I'll end up in fashion, actually, and today I'm in finance. So it's such a wide thing. I think, and it ties back to finances, and for the rest of us that are here and that have kids, have the conversation from a young age, and especially look at what the child is good at. I think their skill set. Don't force them now to become a professional soccer player if they don't have ball sense or whatever. Skill set, definitely. Have the conversation and encourage them to explore from a young age. And we can't shy away from it that the gig economy is the next thing. The fourth industrial revolution, it's here. Last week we had a big energy week in South Africa. Sorry, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, energy week in South Africa. We're going online, coding, software developers. Exactly. And why do you want to start the child when they're 18 or after matric? If the finances or the opportunities are there or the bursaries are there, get in touch. And that's why I'm so grateful we're doing events like these, that we can network and connect and partner. Because it takes one person to just start the entire chain. And also we must share, not just keep to myself, but I know I need to share and pass it forward, pay it forward. So I would think your skill set, and I think I want to, don't give me a mic, I'll just talk for the last sentence, I promise. Also, if you make an error, it's also okay. Don't beat yourself up about that.
So, thank you so much, Adele. So I'm glad that I got to finally meet you. Eh? You're so amazing in all aspects. I won't lie.
I'm so grateful. Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
Sure.